Thank you for listening to Shulchanaruchharav.com.
Not to be dressed sloppy when going outside in public and in front of other people. And what's the deal with wearing one's shirt tucked in versus tucked out of one's pants? So we have a Gemara in Masechah Shabbos, page Kuf Yodaled 114a, which states, Amar Rabbi Yochanan said, Kol Talmid Chacham shenidnse revolve al begodoi chayiv misa shenemar kol masanei al hevei moves. Rabbi Yochanan stated that every Torah scholar who walks around with stained garments is liable for death, as the verse states in Mishlei chapter 8 by Shlomo HaMelech, that all of my haters love death. And Rashi explains this to mean that by the Talmid Chacham wearing disparaging clothing, sloppy dress, it makes the onlookers who see him think not just of him as a low person, but of what it represents as something lowly and despicable, and thus distances them from Torah and from Hashem. This Gemara became the source of the halacha written in the Shulchanaruchharav chapter 2 and the Mechaber halacha 3 in the Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch, both in Madura Kama and Basra. Then one must take care of how he is dressed, not to look sloppy, not to wear his garments, his shirt inside out, and look disparaging in the eyes of others. And while this applies to every Jew, it especially applies to a Talmid Chacham, and to anyone who, in the eyes of other people, is viewed as a representative of Torah values, which practically today in our society would include anyone who's wearing a yarmulke, Baruch Hashem, to show that he's Jewish. He's a showcase for Judaism in the eyes of the public, and he therefore must take care to be dressed decently and not appear degrading. We find in a Sikha of the Rebbe that was said on Gimel Tammuz 1956 to the Shluchim before they parted for Eretz Yisrael, that the Rebbe told the Shluchim that they are to place due effort in the way they look and how they dress, so it be representable and respectful and fitting for their mission in Eretz Yisrael. Likewise, we find that the Rebbe Rashab once instructed the students of Tomchei Tmimim to not wear their tzitzis on top of their clothing, as it looked very sloppy in his eyes, and he directed them and instructed them how to be dressed in a proper and decent looking manner. Now, what about the discussion of tucking in versus not tucking in? Should one walk around with his shirt tucked into his pants, referring to a male, or is it okay for his shirt to be out of his pants, as some are accustomed to do? Is this considered sloppy dress and therefore would be forbidden, or do we say it's your choice and either way goes in society? So while there is discussion amongst fashion circles of whether various forms of shirts should be tucked in or not, everyone is in agreement that a dress shirt should be tucked into dress pants, which is the normal clothing worn by Haredi Jewry and Chassidim, and not doing so is viewed as sloppy by society. So if you're wearing black pants and a white shirt, it is to be tucked in. As irrelevant of how we view it, society views it as a sloppy way of dress. Now, some wear their shirts out, not because they don't care about being sloppy, because they say that doing so is the custom, that's the Chabad Minhag, and that's what should be done in practice. So we spoke to Rav Eliyahu Landau Shlita, the Rosh Yeshiva of Kfar Chabad of Tomchei Tmimim, and he answered the following regarding this question. Said the various claims that people bring that, so to say, there's a custom to wear the shirt out, are all incorrect and have no basis. And thus, obviously, a bacher and a younger man is to wear his shirt tucked into his pants so he doesn't look schlumpy and sloppy. Furthermore, Rav Eliyahu Landau added some historical perspective to the above question. He explained that the original custom in Tomchei Tmimim in Lubavitch, in the city of Lubavitch, was to wear the tzitzis on top of the clothing, just like many Chassidic groups do today. However, the Rebbe Rashab negated this practice, as we already mentioned earlier, and he told the students of Tomchei Tmimim that their dress is sloppy and they have two choices, either to wear the tzitzis under their shirt or to wear a long jacket that covers over the tzitzis. And the chosen form by the Bachrim was to wear a long jacket, and thus in Lubavitch, in the city, all the Bachrim would wear long jackets that covered over their shirts and tzitzis. Later on, the custom became to wear short jackets, and then the Bachrim would all tuck in their shirts, and obviously tuck in their tzitzis, the beged, and just leave the strings out. This was the custom up until the 1960s within the Lubavitch yeshivas in Eretz Yisrael. And it is only in more recent years that some Bachrim became accustomed to wearing the shirt out for the various reasons. that they claim, which once again we stated are baseless. One of the claims stated is that the Rebbe was witnessed to have his shirt out and not tucked into his pants in his private study. Rav Eliyahu Lando answered that by saying exactly that, it was in his private study. The Rebbe was never ever seen with a shirt tucked out of his pants in public because he always wore the long coat, which blocked any visibility. And thus, an invisible sloppiness is not sloppiness and is okay. But to go out with a short jacket or with no jacket with a shirt out is viewed by society as a sloppy way of dress and obviously should not be followed by those representing Torah values and the values of Chassidus. An added advantage of wearing the shirt tucked in is that it helps the tzitzis remain in place and not fly around and fold over and lose the sheer talis of which the Alter Rebbe Nesidah requires to be had at all times. In Meretz Hashem, in a second lesson on this subject, we will discuss the details of wearing clothing inside out. If one did so, must he change it? And what about undergarments that anyways people don't see? Or a talis katan or a yarmulke and things of the like in Meretz Hashem in part 2 of this discussion.
Thank you for listening to Shulchanaruchharav.com. Our free services of making Torah knowledge available to the public depends on donors like you. Please help us continue our work through making even a small contribution at Shulchanaruchharav.com under the Daily Halacha Dedication section or in the subscription page. Also, check out our online courses and many sefarim available for purchase that will both enhance your Torah knowledge and help support our work.